Hello, everyone, again. If you're just joining us, we appreciate you being here. We're just about to get underway. This will be recorded for future use, so if your colleagues can't be here, it will be something that you can share with them later, and you can always come back to it at a later time to view it again if you have additional questions. I have with me today Mary Housley, who's my colleague. She'll be in the Q&A chat answering those content-oriented questions. We also have our Educate Texas staff who's providing the technical assistance for the program application cycle, and they're in the chat as well, and they'll answer those questions. So if you do have questions, put them in the chat. I'm also going to pause every once in a while as we get to different sections and allow some time for Mary and or Jen or Christian who are in the chat to answer your questions to come off to maybe to address some themes to the group. So again, thank you for being here. And if you can go ahead and mute your mic until you're ready to speak, maybe later down toward the end when we have some Q&A time, that would be fantastic. Thanks again for being here. My name is Darren Ford, and we're going to talk about the 26-27 Program Application Cycle webinar. You're here because you are currently a member of the network, and it's okay if you're not, if you're just curious. But this webinar specifically will be focused on people who are returning to complete the renewal application. So if you're a current planning campus, a current provisional campus, or a current designated campus, you found the right spot. And we're glad you're here as well too. We're going to take you through the website, take you through the application. We're going to take you through some of the ins and outs. You'll be happy to know that most of what you see, again, is
It doesn't matter. I can do, I've got
one. So I'm going to let some more people in here.
Darren.
Who said that? Mr. Kramer was gonna be in it anyways.
So she did, and it's being recorded.
There we go with everybody in. And if you want to go ahead and turn off your mic,
Leave it
that would
there.
be fantastic. Just remember to mute your mic.
So that he can, if he wants to keep that one back.
Mr. Warren, Mr.
Mary, is it possible just before we get started, can you let the people who are arriving a little bit late in? Is that something that you can do?
Yes, as long as you just go ahead and make me a co-host, I'll be happy to
We'll
do
do
that.
that. Great. That way I won't get too distracted. Okay. Sorry about that, guys. Handling some technical issues here. And that way we can get started. Okay. So again, thank you for being here. It'll be recorded. Yes, we've already said that. So let's get started. Here's our agenda for today, which I briefly touched on. Overview of the CCRSM network and the process and our website. We're going to take a deep dive into the basics of the program application. And then if we have a chance and if we have a time to do it, we're going to actually look at the website live and kind of take you through some of the things that we touched on previously. Remember to submit those questions in the Q&A. The webinar slides are recorded and be posted and shared later. And again, if you have questions afterward, at any time, please use that email address listed there, and Mary and I will get back to you as soon as possible. Here's the Texas Education CCRSM team. Again, Darren Ford here to help you out. Mary is on line 2 in the Q&A chat. Mary and I service all early college high schools and PTECs, and we serve as the post-secondary programs CCRSM coordinator, and we're directed by Crystal Garza. I'd also like to give a shout out to our TEA technical assistance team for the program application. So as you submit help desk tickets, which we'll talk about later, and these are the people that actually lead that response to get you the answers you need so that you can complete that application from a technical point of view. Jen and Christian, who are in the Q&A chat as well, I want to give them a big shout out. Without them, a lot of this wouldn't be possible, and they put a lot of hard work in. So I do want to put a spotlight on them briefly to say thank you, Jen and Christian, for helping us with the technical aspects of the application. Shoot us an email if you have any additional questions afterward. If you haven't, here's our wonderful map. We are very proud to let you know that we have an early college high school or a PTEC in every ESC region in Texas. You can see some patterns in there if you want to. You can see down the 35 corridor. You can see Austin, Houston, and then we have a really good number of campuses out in El Paso, in the Valley, of course, and then in our West Texas and East Texas regions too. We're here to build and support innovative high schools that provide a structured program which leads students to graduate to graduate with post-secondary incomes and outcomes. And that's why you're here too. And we're going to help you get fully applied and get that completed. Just so we're all on the same page, I just wanted to address the path designation. Again, you would enter in as a applicant and apply to become a planning campus. Once you do that and then you're accepted, you become a planning campus, which you have 12 to 18 months to do that planning as you ramp up to serve your first round of students. We call that time provisional, and your are 5 years, provisional years 1 through 5, of course. And then you get into your designated campus mode after completing 5 years of serving students. And then also you're eligible for distinctions in that 7 year plus. If for some reason you don't hit the designated markers after completing those 5 years, you'll move into our needs improvement campus process, and there'll be years 6 through 8. And then either we'll get you back to designated status or transition you back to a more of a comprehensive, maybe it's a more comprehensive dual credit approach, comprehensive high school, or potentially a CTE focused comprehensive high school. So that's how it maps out. So all of you are in one of those phases, whether it be if you're new, potentially as a planning campus, you've completed that planning application, now you're moving into year 1. If you're provisional, from a model point of view, you're hitting that same application and then you're kind of moving forward. Just know that the applications kind of fall into kind of 2 broad categories. There's the new to network planning to become a planning application, to become a planning campus application, and then what we call renewal. And there's an early college high school version, and there's a P-Tech version. So the majority of you who are returning, who are currently part of our network, are going to complete that either that P-Tech renewal and or the early college renewal application. If you haven't seen it, this is a fabulous website, and so I encourage you to go back here, and you'll actually have to go here to get started on your application. If you look across the top here, you can kind of see that there's some really good resources related to our models, both P-Tech and early college high school. If you remember that map that I showed you earlier, that's our school locator map. I really think that's a good spot to go and look again and see geographically who's around you and potentially network with those as well. We have additional resources tab that has both some exemplar sites and some events and some videos. We have an event site, and then related directly to this application and getting started here is that top right corner. If you hover over that, that's where you'll begin the application process. So if you hover over that Get Involved orange button there, that's an orange there, you'll see that there's a program application selection that'll drop down. You'll select that. You'll select that button to get started. So again, that's texasccrsm.org. So once you select that program application, that little section right up here, that is in the top right corner, you'll see here, that will bring you to this web page. And I wanted to address in more specifics here some of the resources that you have available to you to help you prepare, and answer the questions that are that are actually on the application and the application website. If you drop down this menu here under models, it'll give you access to the early college high school P-Tech and P-Tech blueprints. If you go over to the resources drop-down menu again, that'll give you some best practices and some examples of how to complete an MOU, how to do some recruiting. So there's some really good best practice pieces in there as well. The events drop-down menu will give you all the events that we're putting on both in person, regionally, statewide, and events such as these online. So go there if you're looking for the most up-to-date information as far as the events that are coming up. If you hit the Get Involved drop-down button, again, that is related to either for partners, if we're looking for additional IAG partners or business partners or people that want to support the network, that's a good resource for them. And it also drops down the program application link which will bring you to this page right here. At the very bottom, you'll see 2 really important areas. That's that apply button. So you're going to hit that submit application, that orange button there. That'll bring you to the actual start of the application. So you're going to hit that button right there to start officially getting access to the application. But I also wanted to highlight too, this bottom section. These 8 PDFs or Word documents are all of the questions that are going to be asked. So it's a really good site to go to, download your version of what you need, get a head start, right? Look at all the questions, start answering them, maybe share them with your co-editors, maybe share them with your leadership, share it to your IHE partner. It's a good way to get a head start. And that way you can answer the questions maybe in a Google Doc, again in a Word doc, and then have them ready to paste into the actual application as you complete it. So again, go there if you're looking for all the questions at once. The events site, again, that events button here, I just wanted to highlight a couple of key important dates and some other resources and webinars and office hours that Mary and I will host. The pack cycle opened on August 1st, so it's open for you to jump in right now if you haven't already. I want to say that Jen shared with us recently, there's already at least one or two schools that are ready for signatures. So congratulations to them. If you're online, fantastic. You are A plus. You've gotten to it and gotten started. If you haven't, you have plenty of time to jump in, get started, get familiar with what the website is if you're new to it, and or look at what you have to do to complete it. And you have until November 21st. November 21st. So an earlier start date, an earlier end date. We wanted to give you more time to get started. We also wanted to end in November before that holiday rush and for all those things you have to do at the high school level toward the end to get that testing and all those wonderful things that you do in addition to the providing P-TECH or early college high school services. So just keep in mind that we're ending prior to what we've done before, and that'll be November 21st at 11:59 p.m. Mary and I will host a webinar very similar to this one next Friday. So if you're going to jump in or invite your colleagues, it'll be very similar to this one. It'll just be a little more focused to people who are new to the network and want to start a new program. And then Mary and I will host office hours. Think of these as more as Q&A sessions. So you can hop on, ask specific questions that maybe you haven't had a chance to ask yet, or want to have more of an in-depth dialogue about your application. And again, you can see those dates in September, October, and November. Be sure to hit that the events button here, and then it'll have all the details that you want to see for the events. And you can always register, of course, by hitting there, and then you can attend any of those office hours or their future webinar. And just a quick show you, if you click on the link for those blank documents that I referenced previously, right here, you'll get downloads to all of the applications. So you can use a PDF or a Word again, but this is a really good start to let you see the entire scope of what the application entails and to begin answering it prior to actually getting into the website and answering those questions one by one. Let's jump ahead a little bit. A couple of things to note. It'd be helpful to have the student enrollment by grade level. What do we mean by this? One of the questions is going to ask you, hey, what's your cohort size for ninth grade? What's your cohort size for 10th grade? Now we know that you didn't know the exact number, so there'll be some ranges you can choose from, but having that in advance is going to be very helpful. Having your CDC number to identify which campus is going to be that P-TECH or early college high school that you're going to complete the application for is really necessary. The primary contact, again, that's going to be the person that's in charge of and or do the majority of the work. They're responsible for completing the PAC application. Have that person already designated. That person can detail or designate two additional collaborators. And these people will actually be in the system and assist with application and edits. Now you can share the application at any time. You can allow other people to enter and look at some of the work that you've done by sharing PDFs, which we'll talk about a little bit later. But these two PAC collaborators will actually think of them as additional editors, additional people that will come in and jump in and assist you with completing the actual questions in the application. Campus leader contact information is very important for us because that's how we communicate with your campus leader. Your counselor is super important. The PEAMS official. PEAMS official. I cannot say enough. They are vital to this. They are the heart and soul of our data collection process. So having their information to share with us because we want to communicate better moving forward with that PEAMS official and sharing some of the dates that are coming up of when to submit certain times. So having that information is very helpful. Of course, your superintendent's contact information, the IHE contact information, and for our PTACs, an additional piece of the business and industry contact information. I skipped over, but I'm going to go back to it. The years of experience will just give us a better sense from our technical assistance point of view, so our coaches can know better how much familiarity you have, how much each campus leader, each counselor, each PEMS official has familiarity with the P-TECH or early college process. That helps us inform our guidance and our intervention. So that's all we're asking for that. Really not looking for any certain thing besides how much experience do you have in the network? That helps us with how we respond to the questions that you have as well. So some really good things to know before you start. Some things to do while you're completing your application. Definitely collaborate with your campus and district level stakeholders for edits. Checking in with everyone who's important. If you're a P-TECH, keep in mind that your CTE director, if it's someone unique outside of your process, will be very helpful in that. Your business and industry partners, of course, will be helpful in that as well. Your IHE is vital. Connecting with them and collaborating them throughout the process or when they want to begin the process. So again, making sure that your campus staff, your colleagues, your collaborators, your leadership on your program is involved as you're completing this. Your IHE, with that person you work with on a day-to-day basis, that person that can give you some real insight, make sure they're involved prior to submitting your application for signature. And that's always really important because one of the things that we've seen in the past when people struggle is, hey, I didn't know this part of it. I've already submitted. I've already have my signatures. Can I go back? And that's a little bit of a heartburn for you. And so we want to kind of solve that for you. So if you're collaborating with those people while you're doing it, then we don't have to disconnect and have you start over, make edits, and then submit for signature again. Don't forget, if you're a P-TECH, those business partners are helpful. And at the end, which again, we'll talk about a little later, how to upload and what we're going to do for signatures this year, we just want one single signature page. And so once we get there, you'll see that there are going to be options for your campus leader, your IHE leader. And again, if you're a P-TECH, there'll be an option for your business connection to all review the application, review what you're planning to do for this year, and they sign off, right? We only want one document with all three signatures to be uploaded. One document, one single PDF document uploaded. And we'll talk about that a little bit later. And I'll show you more about how to do that. Say it one more time. Continuous collaboration is always important throughout the entire process. Now, I have heard that some of our larger IHEs have started to be more coordinated with this as well. And so if you work with a larger IHE, they may approach you about their window of time and how they want to interact and edit and review your application. So please be in contact with that IHE and or that business partner to make sure that you're helping meet their needs and their timeline as well, and that collaboration is continuous. I'm going to pause there and see if there are any questions that Mary would like to address or Jen or Christian.
No questions, but just some reminders that we will be posting this webinar and recording and the slides on our website probably next week. And also just a reminder that when you work with your IHE, make sure to ask them who they want to list, who they want you to list as their contact on the application. Because like Darren was saying, a lot of systems, they want all of the signatures to be routed to one individual person at the institution. And finally, last question, IHE stands for Institute of Higher Education. So we're just talking about your community college partner there.
Thanks, Mary. Great questions. Keep adding them to the Q&A because that's what we're here for. Let's look at actually how to launch the application. So thank you for kind of letting me take you through the process, give you some really good resources to look at and talk about overall how to approach it. And then let's look at how to launch it here. So we're going to go back to that website that I showed you earlier, right? You're going to go to the application website. Remember, you can click here to access this page, but ultimately you're going to get to that submit application orange button. That's how you start and or apply. That's how you're going to get that first entry link. Hit that submit button. Once you hit that submit button, it's going to take you to a page that looks like this. Now this is key right here. So I'm going to slow down just a little bit because I tend to talk fast if you didn't catch that already. This is where you'll come back additionally after you enter your first contact information to always receive the link to enter the application. So what you're going to do is you're going to enter your first name, last name, and your work email address here, here, and here. After you do that, you're going to search for your district or LEA name. You can use the search bar here to start typing in. You can use the scroll bar if you want to down the side, or ultimately you can kind of use either ones. If you use the search bar, it'll actually bring up just a more smaller number of matches to what you typed in if you want to scroll up and down. But after you do all that and you find the correct IHE, which is listed here, you want to highlight using that radio button by clicking on it and then coming over to your check access button here and hit the check access button. So again, first name, last name, work email, search and find your district. Click on the radio button here to make sure it's highlighted and then check access. Once you do all of that, it'll give you a confirmation. If you're having trouble and you can't find access to your school, or you're having trouble, it can't find your name, you can always submit a help desk ticket by clicking on here. That'll bring up another window. You can kind of go through and say, hey, I can't find my name. I can't find connected to that. And again, Jen and Christian and our technical assistance team will help you get better connected there. I'll talk about more about how to complete a ticket a couple of slides down later, but I just wanted to show you in general how to get started. So first name, last name, email address, find your LEA. Make sure you hit that radio button, check access. It'll move you to a confirmation site. It'll bring you to this site in your browser. You've been confirmed, and you can see I've highlighted that 60 minutes, right? So what that's telling you is that this link that's been sent to your email will provide you 60 minutes of access to your application. You can come and go using that unique link for 60 minutes for an hour, right? Outside of that hour, if you want to come back in the future, you'll need to come back and do a similar process that we just talked about. I also want to highlight too that sometimes your filters are really super tight and super protective. So always check your spam folder for this email that you'll receive and potentially connect with your IT department and make sure that your filters are appropriate or if they're catching something so you can't get this link at a later date in the moment or in the future as well too. So again, this is just confirming that you've received the link. What you want to do here now is wait a minute or two. It's not very long at all. It should be pretty instant. Look for that email in your inbox. That email looks something similar to this, right? It'll be from CCRSM at texas.ccrsm.org. The subject line is there for you to read. Again, check your spam folder. Check your spam folder. It'll help us out. Again, contact your IT department if they can be helpful there as well. And that it allows 60 minutes of access. That little link right there will get you started. That link right there is particular to that submission that you just completed to gain access to the system. Outside of that 60 minutes, or if you lose it, what you'll need to do is come back to the site again, right? You're going to hit that apply button. You're going to go through that process we just laid out. First name, last name, find your school, hit the check access. That's going to provide you a new link, which will give you an additional 60 minutes to have access. So I want to kind of pause there and see if there are any questions, Mary, that I can address or if I'm making sense to the group.
There are a couple questions that I know Jen is working on, which is the time frame for how long the application is open, that 60-minute window. And also there is a question for districts that have multiple programs, will they all be listed and will they be able to select their program?
Yes. Yes. So districts that have multiple programs, multiple applications, great question. They'll actually be listed in the next screens coming forward. So you don't have to come back and identify each individual school. It's more from a district point of view.
And for the 60 minutes, it's just a cybersecurity thing. It's not, if you hop back in there and enter your email address again, you get another link and that one's valid again for 60 minutes. That just is a recommended for protecting the system.
Thanks, Jen.
But it's easy to get another one pretty quickly. So
Yes. Great questions. Okay. Fantastic. So that's how you gain access. So you've gained access, right? You clicked on that link. And now you have your first shot. So imagine here that you already have an application. Now, what I haven't shared with you yet is that that application we've migrated over. We've migrated over and pre-populated some of the information. We've pre-populated some of the information from the previous application in hopes that it cuts down on some of your time to complete this application. So we wanted to add this new feature in, again, thanks to Jen and Christian and leading that project so that a lot of the work that maybe you've done in the past is somehow less moving forward. So when you get to this site, you'll see that all the applications will be on this in this area, and some of them will be pre-populated. Now, the key here is that if we pre-populated it, we need you to verify that it's accurate. We have to know that you think it's accurate. And so by moving forward and completing the application, you're telling us that what was true last year is true this year. So please, 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 a little bit different. We pre-populated some of the information in hopes to help the ease of completing this application, but we need you to verify it there as well. If for some reason the primary applicant and all of the collaborators involved from last year are not involved this year, you had a leadership change, those you can create a help desk ticket to again have access to this information. So if you're having trouble and you've got a brand new team and anyone and everyone involved in completing the application last year is not involved this year, submit a ticket and then we'll take care of that as well. Because the primary applicant from last year and any collaborators that were identified from last year are the only people who will see the pre-populated applications. So again, if you've had a complete leadership change, no one's available from last year who completed it, submit a help desk ticket, and Jen and Christian will lead the charge to get that changed and get you access and add additional collaborators if needed. Just want to highlight that's where the application will be when it lands. If you have more than one, again, it'll be additional applications per district, not necessarily per school. So you'll see each individual program per district in this area as well. And you can move forward that way. So again, this is the landing site for how to get started. And that's just highlighting where you do a help desk ticket if you need some additional help. Once you are here and you want to move forward with this application, remember that you're always selecting the button here, that little radio button right in there connected to this application, and hitting the continue button, and that will bring up the questions that are related to that application, related to that program in that district. Now, I've teased it a lot, but I just wanted to show you what it is to complete a help desk ticket, especially for if you're adding, updating the primary contact, which we just referenced previously. You'll click here. This will, on your screen, it'll bring up a menu here. There are three choices here. You'll choose the middle one, which is related to updating the primary contact and collaborators. You'll complete this menu item here. You'll hit the submit button, and that'll give you access and let us know, hey, we need to add some new people to help complete this application. Once you've completed that help desk ticket, I just want to show you the confirmation that will appear on your screen. You'll also receive an email confirming that we received your help desk ticket and that we're on the case to solve it as soon as possible. I also want to address on the sidebar for each section, you'll have a frequently asked questions page. Jen and Christian, again, have done a wonderful job of attempting to intuit and or look into the crystal ball and use the questions from we had last year and previous application cycles to provide answers. So again, if you'd like to download that frequently asked questions page, we'd greatly be appreciative of that. That may answer one of your questions and get you back in the game as soon as possible so you can complete that application sooner than later. But again, either way, you can download the frequently asked questions page. Maybe that answers it for you. If not, always submit that help desk ticket and we will get you a solution. And that is, I just want to show you a little example of a few of the questions related to the download for the frequently asked questions document. So in the applications progress section, this is where you'll see it start to edit. It will move into this section. So once you're here and you start to edit and select the ones, it'll actually move down into this section here. Answer a few questions. It kind of moves down in this section here. I also wanted to address if you wanted to start a new application, again, that's always available here. So that beginning application when you first logged in will begin here the first time. It'll move here. And if you needed to start a new application because you want to add an additional school, a brand new program, not a new application related to one that's already in the network. This is something that maybe you're going to bring a new P-Tech to your school. Again, not something that's in the network. That's when you want to start a new application. But again, just to highlight, your applications will begin here. They'll move down here to begin the formal and in-depth edit process. Once you answer those questions inside of that application, they'll move to the pending signatures. This will generate an email to you containing the final application content and assurance pages. I want to go back and say, remember again, to talk about as you go back and complete all of these questions, you're working with your IHE partner, you're working with your staff, you're working with your leadership on your campus, potentially working with your IHE partner. And in addition to your business and industry partner, everybody's involved. Anybody who can give you feedback who is relevant, work with them before you move it down to pending signatures. Be sure that final draft of your application has been shared and approved by your IHE partner, and that all edits have been made and the content is final. Once you do that, you can select that button again here. Remember, just kind of submitting these, clicking on these areas and hitting continue is how you're going to move forward. Once you've obtained all required signatures, you can return to the portal and select the appropriate application. So you've gone and we have the assurance PDFs downloaded. They're all been signed by everybody on one document. You come back to the site and you upload your PDF for completion. There'll also be a link in the right column to access this PDF that you submit. Just keep in mind that that link is not accessed immediately. It's not updated immediately, but it's updated 3 times throughout the day. So just give us some time at 8, 12, and 4 if you want access again to look at that PDF that you've uploaded. It would only be available in those time rhythms, so it's not going to be immediately available. We can only update in those 3 times during the day. Let me pause there and see if Mary and or Jen have any additional comments or questions that could be addressed for the group.
No questions, but just to summarize this section, could you remind, it sounds like there are some big updates from last year. So could you remind us just what the big updates are, one being that everyone is going to have a landing page now, which we didn't have last year. Is that correct?
Yes.
And then
Correct.
in your landing page, if you filled out a previous application, those applications will appear in your landing page. Is that correct?
Correct. Yes.
And then those applications that appear, once you click on them, you should see that there is some pre-population from what you submitted last year.
Yes. Yes. Great summary.
Okay.
Perfect.
And
But
then,
yeah, so go ahead.
oh, sorry. And the last thing is that I know you're going to talk about, but you alluded to a PDF document for the signatures. So no DocuSign this year.
Correct. Yeah, and we'll talk about a little bit more of that as we move forward. So, but to address it now, if you were here a part of it last year, we attempted to use a more formal process, a more structured process. This year, what we're going to do is allow you to download the assurance document and deliver it to your campus leader, deliver it to the IHE leader, and then if you're a PTech, the business and industry partner leader for signature. They'll sign it electronically I'll sign it with their hand signature. You'll make a copy of whatever the best process is for you and that IHE. But what we need is 3 signatures on that one PDF that you'll take it to. And then that one PDF with all of the signatures that are needed will be uploaded back into the system. So we're kind of we're not going to use the electronic process that we used last year. We found that it was a little too restrictive. And so we want to give you the freedom for you to be responsible for delivering and communicating and working with your IHG partner of how and when it needs to be signed. But ultimately, what that means is for you is it's a more of a hands-on process of you obtaining those signatures and you uploading that final document. Great question. Great summary. Okay. Once you've obtained all those signatures, again, return to the portal, select the appropriate application, and upload your PDF containing those signatures. Again, the availability for that link is only at 8, 12, and 4. Just to highlight this landing page again, there'll be a start application button. Again, if you want to start a new program only, so start a new application for a new program new to the system, that's where you would begin. Now, I'll just always want to highlight the need help area will be there for any other additional questions as well. So a really quick review. Just think about it this way, it flows down. So you're gonna have an application that pops in here. You're gonna start here. You're gonna answer a few questions. You're gonna verify the information. Remember to select that button. It's gonna move down here. You're gonna answer all of the questions right, and the application's in progress. You've completed all of the questions. You've worked with all the partners. Everything is 100% accurate. You're ready to go. It'll move down into the signatures file, right? And then we'll have you move down into the applications complete area. And that's the process for submitting your signatures. You'll go back and get those signatures, have them signed by each partner, IHE, campus, and or a PTech. If you're a PTech, you have a business partner. Return to the site, select that application to that school, and then connect that PDF signed assurance page to that school, and then hit upload. And your applications will be complete.
Darren, there's a quick question about PDFs of the completed document. So when folks are ready to get their applications, once the applications are complete and they are ready for the signature, is there a way they can share the application with their partners prior to the signature, or will the signature page maybe have an application attached? What would you recommend in those cases?
Yeah. So there'll be once you throughout the entire process, which we'll talk about here in a couple of slides, there'll be a PDF link at the top once you get more involved, which will allow you to download currently where you're at in the application process to share at any time. You can also share it after you complete. So again, that's the way to share the application to look for final review or final completion. So you can do that consistently throughout, but also when you get down to the final section here in the pinned signatures file, there'll be a PDF link in this area that you'll be able to download and then have signed and then bring back to the process for upload. Did that answer the question?
Yes, thank you.
Great. And Jen or Christian, did you want to add anything to that process that I've left out? Just want to offer that opportunity as well.
Nope, I think you got it.
Great. Thank you. All right. So let's actually look at some of the sections. So once you begin the application, so you've clicked on the link, you've kind of started, there'll be multiple sections. You can see that the grade level served, the district academy information, multiple sections to go down. It will vary slightly depending on the model. There are some additional questions for planning applications. There are some additional questions for PTech applications. So it won't look exactly like this one, but this will be the general process. You'll see sections. So again, another upgrade. We have a landing page for you. You'll be able to move through. There'll also be a sectional page that you can go to look at each section. So again, in previous form, you just got into the application and had to go one-to-one, answer. So again, the upgrade here is that you'll go to a section menu inside your application landing website and look at each section as you move through as well. Couple of notes. You can use the buttons on the left-hand side to navigate through each section, right? And when you complete all the required questions, it'll update as complete. You can also see there's a not started area here too. It is possible to move to the next section without completing a question. So you can go through an entire section and move to the next section without completing all of the questions. But you can't complete it. You can't complete for upload until everything is completed. So you can kind of browse through it without answering everything if you want to, if that's your strategy. But just know that each section needs to be complete prior to the final upload, and it actually won't let you move forward until you complete each section. So I just want to say that in case I was just a little unclear. You can move through each section without completing all the questions, but you have to go back and make sure that everything is complete prior to uploading it for signatures. You can, like we shared before, you can download a link of a copy of the application. If you want to answer all the questions and kind of collaborate before you get to this side. So again, just that note there is that go back and download your blank copies of documents and application questions and get a head start. This is new, and so we hope it's useful for you. You'll see that there is a sectional area here, a column related to all of the sectional questions, the status bar, who's modified it, and the last date and time. So if you have additional collaborators, it'll tell you who's modified it and at what time. So if you have up to 3 people, there could be 3 different names here as you move through. It gives you a little better sense of who's been at the last and work more collaboratively if you need to that way. So again, hopefully it's a good upgrade for you guys. We like it because it allows you to look at the sectional pieces of it first and not just kind of be stuck in that next question, which we were always hoping to get to, and we have this year. Thanks to Jen and Christian. Just to show you again, that's where you go to get all those wonderful questions so you can get a head start. This is another slide just to remind you there are 3 updates in that column right here. There's an in progress. I'm sorry, there's a not started. That section has not been initiated yet. There's an in progress. That means you probably answered a few questions or you browsed through them in some way. And then there's a complete. And remember, you can kind of browse through each section. They'll give you an updated status, but everything needs to be complete. But you can move through all of the sections without completing each one in order. Once all the required questions are answered, the status will update to complete next to each question. Please be sure that everything is complete prior to final approval. If you're having trouble completing the section, it's most likely not to do with is due not to answering one or more of the components on a particular page. So if you can't get that status to up to complete and it's in progress, kind of return to that question and look to see if there's a blank somewhere that you just happen to not notice and to insert. So that's just a little quick tip to go back and say, hey, looks like right here I forgot to put in the title of the IHE person who's going to review and sign this document once it's up for final review. So again, just a quick tip. You can return to that section, you can return to that page, verify all the questions are answered, figure out where you went wrong and just skipped over that one because sometimes that type gets a little too small for me, even for me to read. And just look for that. So if you see an error page or you can't move forward, typically it's because one of the components of that page was not answered. Just a really quick tip. You guys all know this, but we'll go over it. Previous will take you to the previous question, right? Save and continue will move you to the next question or section. Save and return to the section menu brings you back to that sectional menu that we talked about. We'll show you all of the sections at once. So again, wanted to give you that flexibility to go through one at a time, go backward in time, go forward in time, or jump back to the sectional site where you can see all of what you need to do and what you've accomplished so far. The frequently asked questions button is always there to help. So I'm going to deliver on what I promised earlier. To submit a help desk ticket, what you want to do is click that open ticket spot, right? I'm going to click here. I'm going to click in there. It'll bring you on your screen. It'll bring up this section here. You put your first and last name, your email address. You want to choose the campus application that you have a question for. So again, all of your campuses will be brought up based upon the information you entered here, right? Remember that you have 3 types of inquiry. Content question for TEA, those are questions that Mary and I handle, like what's an IPC, or if you don't understand the concept, or how to answer a particular question more from a programmatic lens. Select that. Mary and I will get you an answer as soon as possible. If it's a technical issue, you're having technical problems with the site, you can't move forward, there's an error that you just can't figure out, that would be your technical question about the application button here. And then in the middle, we talked about before, that is the button to add additional primary applicants or collaborators. Once you submit, you'll receive a confirmation on your screen. It looks like that right there. So you'll see that on your screen. It'll have a ticket number and reference. And you'll also get an email. Let's see. You also receive an email with similar information saying, hey, we got your email, confirm that we are on it, on task, and we'll respond to you as soon as possible. I'm going to pause there and see if there are any questions about those slides.
Not specific to those slides, but there are some questions about if you have several IHE partners, who should you have sign your signature page? And the answer is that it's up to the campus who they want to get signed. So generally we see campuses kind of use their primary IHE partner, or maybe there's a partner who they take the majority of their dual credit classes with, and then you have another partner who maybe offers 1 or 2 courses. So generally we see that primary partner listed, but again, we only need 1 IHE signature on that assurance page.
Perfect. Great. Great questions. Continue to ask them, please. All right. So again, if you need to download a PDF of your application, it'll download it by hitting this button here. And what it's going to generate for you is where you are in your application. So if you want to send out kind of here we are middle of the way through, or hey, counselor, you need to answer some questions for us, or hey, PEAMS person, it'd be really cool if you jumped in on this, or IHE partner, we need some feedback here. You can download this PDF. It'll give you data related to all the questions you have answered up to that time. So again, this is a way to share information, share for review, share before final approval outside of the primary applicant and the 2 collaborators that could have been named as well. Please, please, please allow a few minutes to download this PDF. It won't come to you automatically. So again, give us about 2, 3, 5 minutes, because it's actually creating and looking for your particular answers to that particular application, to that particular program. So it does take a little additional time, not hours, just a few minutes extra. So it won't be automatic, but that PDF will arrive soon in your email box. It'll arrive from the no reply at webmerge.me. So again, look for that. Maybe check with your IT or spam or junk mailbox. And again, there's always that access to the questions if you need them. But after you submit that, on your screen, you'll see that you've submitted it successfully. So once you hit that PDF button on the next screen you'll have is that you submitted it successfully. It'll arrive soon. And that's what the email looks like when it arrives. So again, just highlighting a few of those pieces. It'll come from the no reply web merge site. It'll include all of the answers you have up to that moment in your PDF application, and you can share it with whoever you deem fit. And it's a good resource to share with other people who are interested, your community members, other colleagues. If you want feedback outside of those potential 3 people who are actually in there and doing the editing and the working, so this is an excellent resource to use multiple times throughout the collaboration and completion of the application. So again, once your application is complete and all edits have been made, you'll be able to really click on Ready for Signatures. This will lock the content and generate the final documents. Again, it's really important to make sure that everything's complete. Everyone has signed off on it before getting to this point. Once all the sections of the applications are complete, a button labeled Ready for Signatures will appear at the top of the section menu, and then you're eligible to move the application into the signature phase. So again, make sure everyone is on board with what you've completed, and then you can move to signatures section. By marking the application ready for signatures, the application will send an email to you with the PDF of the final application and the assurance pages. So again, once we get to this spot, I think we asked about this earlier. You've completed it all. You've hit ready for signatures. It's going to send you all of the applications, questions, and answers. It's also going to send you the assurance documents that need to be signed. The reminder is that you have to take those assurance documents and have them signed by your district leadership, your IHE partner, and your business partner if you're a P-TECH. Please only submit one document, but gather all those signatures, have them sign, and then we're going to upload it back into the system. You return to the application process and you'll upload it back into the system. Complete, ready for signature. You'll get an email. Here's my completed application. Here are the additional two assurance documents that are blank and ready to sign. Have those signed by those appropriate leaders. Return to the site, upload those documents, and you'll be completed. That's where you'll fill in the information for both. These are examples of your district official and then the IHE, the college that you're working with. You do all that wonderful stuff and select the Uploads File button by choosing the completed and signed assurance document for the correct program. Select the Done button. Oh, sorry. Select the Done button after the file has been uploaded. You'll get visuals like this on your screen here. You can see Upload Files. It'll begin the upload process. You'll click Done. You've uploaded the assurance documents and everything that needs to be reviewed by us. You'll see in your signatures upload that file that you named and uploaded will be here. And again, hit the continue button to complete the process. So again, this is just a screen to show you, select the upload files button, choose the right signed document, click the done button after the file has been uploaded, right? And then hit the continue at the bottom, and that completes the process. So it's a multi-step process. It's selecting, uploading, completing the done process that you've uploaded it, and then hitting the continue to move to the next screen to complete the application process from our point of view. You'll receive this message once you've completed the upload process on your screen. Upload successful. That way you have proof that I've submitted the complete application. I've submitted all of the signatures on the assurance documents. Everything is complete. There'll be two links in the right column on your landing site that'll access the PDF of the final application and your uploaded signatures. So once you do that, if you go back to your landing page and go back to your site, in that bottom right corner, there'll be links over there that'll show you what you've uploaded successfully. So you can always access it again from a viewing point of view. Again, trying to give you more of a direct communication that this process is complete. So getting here and receiving this message is when you are fully complete and you're ready to go and you don't have any more to work on that application. If you need to look at that application down the road, remember it's only generated those 3 times on those 3 times a day, 8 a.m., 12 p.m., and 4 p.m. All right, I'm going to pause. We've got about 5 minutes left. Mary, any hot button questions that we can address?
No, I think we're ready for a preview.
Okay, well, let's get started here. Take this, I'll go here. All right, so let's see if I can get back to sharing correctly. All right, if I've done everything correctly, you should be able to see the website that we referred to earlier.
Yep, we can see it.
Thank you, Mary. Again, you can hover over here to get started. You want to drop down to the program application button. This will bring you to the page we referenced earlier. See if I can make this a little bit smaller. There we go. Come circle down. Here's the submit application button. Here's the resources for downloading. Frequently asked questions are here as well. Submit application. It's going to bring you to the site where you're going to fill out your first name, last name, your email address. You're going to search for your school here. Select the button, fill in this application, and hit check access. I've already done all of that. So what I wanted to show you was once you do all of this, remember, this is going to provide you that link to have access to the actual application questions and answers. Let's see if it's still up here. So imagine that you got that email, you received that link, you clicked on the link, and it's bringing you back. This will bring you back to where you are. So again, for example purposes, if you haven't started working on your application yet, the application will be in here, right? You would click here, answer those questions here, and it would move it down to the application in progress site here. Now, if I wanted to continue to edit, again, I have to click on this button here and then scroll down to the bottom and then hit continue.
Darren, could you make it a little bit bigger?
Sure.
Thank you.
How's that?
That's good.
Great. So what I did was I went to our new sectional site. Like I've just talked about before, here's where you can request the PDF. You can return home. And then here are all of the questions per section. You can see that I'm in progress on some. I've completed others. If I want to go to that site, that section, I'll go here and start answering those questions that you're very familiar with. Now, in this site, again, this will be where some of the pre-populated information will be, but I just wanted to kind of show you how it works. I can save and continue. It's going to take me to the next question in that section, or I can say, you know what, I've completed that section, or I want to turn and see what else is going on. I can go back to the sectional landing site, scroll down, hop in the ESC partner information, and start answering that question here. So it's going to give you some flexibility of where to go and answer, so you don't have to go question by question. But remember, please complete every question prior to submitting for final approval. All right, and so let's go. I'm going to return to home, which is going to take us back to that original landing site. I want to slide down here and I'm going to show you. I've moved this application all the way through the process, and this is what it looks like. So again, once you get to the applications complete, I've done all the work. I've gone out and found the signatures. I've uploaded the signatures. This is what it looks like as far as what it will be. If I wanted to look at this PDF again, remember I could click on any of the programs or the models, the applications related to those programs in here that I'm responsible for. I have more than one. And it's going to download a view of what I've all completed, right? I've answered all of these questions. And at the very bottom, it's going to show you all of the signatures that I've also obtained too. So I don't want to run over time. We got about a minute left. Is there anything that I've left out, Mary or Jen or Christian, that we would need to touch on?
I think there was just one question about how many people can be working in the application at once. And so we would say best practice is one person at a time so that edits don't get overwritten, even though we know you can have collaborators. And an example of an ESC would be maybe the primary contact person that you work at your education service center. So we see a lot of folks who work a lot with their CTE ESC specialist. So that would be someone who we would recommend including in there.
Great. Cool. Jen, Christian, anything to add additionally? I also want to give you guys time to put any extra tidbits in.
I don't think so. The only thing to clarify, because I know it's a little funny that we've talked about how the link populates 3 times a day. Once it does populate, once you cross one of those times, it's there, and then the link is just there. It's just that the process to put the link on that particular page doesn't happen but 3 times a day. So just to clarify that piece. And also if you've requested the PDF, it'll be in your email as well. It's just kind of for a, you know, some weeks have passed and you wanted to go back and access it. It's easy to hop in there and grab the link. Yeah, I think that was my only other thing.
Great, great, great. If you guys, you don't mind, if you'll take a picture of that, I'm also going to drop the link for a 1-question survey to let me know how I did. Give me feedback. Tell me else additionally what I can do better or what we could need to talk about more in the next webinars or our office hours coming up. So I'd be greatly appreciative if you could jump in and add that feedback. Let's see if I can get my technology skills here down. We'll see. Here we go. Sorry about that. Took me a second. I have too many screens going. So there is the link. If you'll take, again, 1 or 2 minutes to fill that out. We'll be here for the next 3 or 4 minutes. If you want to come off mute and add any suggestions or ask questions that we haven't answered so far, Mary and I will be here till about 2:05 p.m. And again, we appreciate you. This is going to be recorded, so we'll be able to share out. And our contact email is here. If you have any additional questions, submit that help desk ticket while you're in the application and we'll get your answers. And we do appreciate you. We appreciate you being here in a really busy time. And we're here to support you. So let us know how it could be helpful in the future. Have a good day.